Hello everyone, with the Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Thursday evening, October 10, 2024. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems, that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak of Atlantic hurricane season, that's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Leave a comment down below, letting me know what the weather has been like in your area recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so let us take a look at the Atlantic hurricane and tropical storm activity based on data from 1944 to 2020. So we can see the reds representing hurricanes and tropical storms, and the yellows that represent hurricane in general. So we're just right here at October 10, just still right here falling off the hill in general in terms of activity as we head into the month of November. But we still see that we can have some slight peaks during the month of October, so we might just still have some more systems popping up even after Milton has passed. And I want for you to keep in mind that it is definitely going to happen for sure. Hurricane season runs from June to November for a reason, and we've been highlighting that this is going to be a very back-end loaded system. We saw that after Beryl we barely had any storms, but we started to have a lot more storms around the peak and the time after the peak of hurricane season. So it's definitely back-end loaded for sure regarding everything that we've had since Hurricane Helene all the way up to Milton. No. If we take a look at the tropical and subtropical cyclone points of origin and tracks based on data from 1851 to 2023, we can see all of these yellow dots representing where we've had some kind of tropical system, tropical storm or subtropical storm form between the time period from October 11 to October 20. Lots of these yellows across, especially the western and southwestern Caribbean. We see Jamaica right here, and we see a lot of these systems forming towards our west and towards southwest. A lot of these systems across the Bahamas and areas to the north of there. We can still get some systems to form out here in the main development region. We'll see how that goes. And we can see even the eastern Pacific can light up with some amount of activity as well. If we take a look at the typical origins, just like what we saw on the other map, this is usually the place, the Western Caribbean, and then majority of the systems curve into the Gulf of Mexico, basically taking the same track across Florida into the open waters of the Atlantic to the east of the United States. So anywhere across the Western Caribbean, even the Eastern Caribbean with some of these yellow colors, can get some amount of activity during the month of October. And we're still watching the sea surface temperatures. We know the yellows, the oranges, the reds represent way above normal sea surface temperatures. The whites represent average. The blues represents below average. And we can definitely see the blues that represent the La Nina that's trying to take shape. We're still in neutral conditions as we speak. We know that we just came out of an El Nino. We know El Nino has to do with when we have warmer than average sea surface temperatures across the eastern to the central Pacific. That causes more rising air across this area of the world, bringing more thunderstorms, more tropical waves becoming tropical depression storms, and thus causing more upper level wind shear across the Atlantic, tearing the tops of these thunderstorms off, preventing these systems from becoming storms, if not hurricanes. But we have the opposite of that. Ever since Beryl days, we've been having a neutral-like pattern. So we don't have El Nino, we have neutral conditions. And we saw what neutral conditions brought in terms of Beryl. And now we have La Nina, which is even more favorable for our neck of the woods. So it definitely is a positive in terms of Atlantic development for our side of the world. Negative in terms of development across the eastern to the central Pacific for the most part. We see that most of the systems across the eastern Pacific have been forming more so north, closer to Mexico right there in the warm area of water. So it all makes sense. And we can see even the Caribbean, the Eastern Caribbean, look at those oranges way above normal sea surface temperatures for these systems to take advantage of. We can even see some of the cold wave associated with what Milton brought to portions of the eastern Gulf of Mexico. We can also see the cold wave based on what we saw that was, I believe, Kirk brought as it pushed northwestward and pushed northward. We can see that it definitely caused the warm water to be depleted, turning more so whites, even blues. And we saw even Leslie taking advantage of some of the warm water as well. And if we take a look at the tropical cyclone heat potential, still hasn't updated for the longest. Well, it's been 10 days to be exact. But we can still see that we have a lot of warm water across the Caribbean. I doubt it has changed much since October 1. We know the reds represent the deep warm water. So even if these systems suck up all of the sea surface temperatures, the warm water is at the skin of the ocean, it will still have a lot of warm water at the depth of the ocean to work with. Say we get a system to stall out across, especially the central to the western Caribbean, it's just going to be churning up even more water, well, even more warm water to work with, rather than what it did right here with Kirk, leaving a cold wake. Alright, so let us get some expert insights. We're going to be looking at the latest from Ben Newell. He's a meteorologist at the National Institute of Water and Atmospheric Research in New Zealand. As a matter of fact, he just announced that he is going to be getting a job in the United States as a meteorologist for some, I believe, news agency, if I'm not mistaken. Definitely well deserved considering how good this guy is. Either way, we know that he makes some accurate posts about the Atlantic hurricane season when he's ready. As a matter of fact, he made a post similar to this one right before we had Beryl, and then Beryl came in, and that was definitely well predicted, at least a good month in advance before it happened. And now this is what he stated as of his latest post that was posted at around 9:37 a.m. today. He stated, what's next for the Atlantic after Milton? A convective pulse is forecast to move into the basin from late October into November, potentially setting the stage for another round of tropical activity. There's still a long way to go in the season. And he highlighted this map right here. We know the greens into the blues represent some rising era. Now we have rising era over an era. That means the thunderstorms are easy to thrive, becoming tropical depressions, if not tropical storms, and even hurricanes. So we're looking at this part of the map right here. This is where we're located in the Atlantic. And we're going to be focusing on the timestamp right there at the top. So first of all, we're at October 10 right now. So this is what he's highlighting for the time period from October 11 to October 18. We see more oranges and the green colors within those oranges that we now represent sinking air. So right now we're in the downward phase. We're not expecting much development at this time, even although we already have some systems out there. That's just about it. We won't be expecting much systems developing at this time, given the sinking air that's expected over the next 7 days from October 11 to October 18. And as we continue to go out in time, we see that October 18 to October 25, we still have some oranges, some stinking air, but not as much as what we're going to be having during the next 7 days. So we see that it's lightening up. We see more of the rising air across the Western Pacific into portions of the Central Pacific. And then as we continue to go out in time, look at this. We start to die out with the oranges, the sinking air across the Atlantic. Start to get on more blues that represent rising air from October 25 to November 1. This is what he's stating. As we wrap up October, we're starting to get on more rising air. Even November 1 to November 9, we still have a lot of rising air to work with. So who knows, we might just get some more systems forming out of the rising air that's expected. We know how these things go. These energies of rising air are usually pushed from west to east. As of right now, the energies across the Indian Ocean and the Western Pacific, definitely a high signal. As a matter of fact, look at all of the greens and the dark blue colors right there. We might just get some systems forming out of this across the Western Pacific, and I'll definitely be here to keep you posted with what occurs on that side of the world, because we know that we even have a lot of Jamaicans who work over there. Alright, so that was the expert insight. Let us take a look at what the US Climate Prediction Center is showing on their Global Tropics Hazards Outlook. We can see that as of their latest update that just came out on October 8th, so this just came out 2 days ago. We totally forgot about it, especially considering that we were tracking Milton at the time, or else I would have talked about it on Tuesday evening. Either way, we know how these things go. We're looking at this part of the world. This is where we are located, the Atlantic, Jamaica right here, and they've highlighted 2 maps in general. So we're going to be zooming in and we're going to be looking at the colors that we see. So we see the light greens and we see the red and white patterns across the Caribbean, and that's for the time period from October 16 to October 22. And we also see the same thing across the same spots from October 23 to October 29, and we know the light greens represents a 50% chance of above normal rainfall, and the red and white patterns represent a 20% chance of cyclone formation probability. So maybe something might form in our neck of the woods. They even have portions of Jamaica and Haiti highlighted on both maps. We'll see how that goes. We know the Global Tropics Hazards Outlook from the Climate Prediction Center is usually not that 100% accurate, but usually when they highlight, as we get closer to the time period, that's when the US National Hurricane Center usually responds. Who knows, maybe it's just a matter of time before we see a code yellow somewhere across the central to the Western Caribbean, including Jamaica, especially what we've been watching on the GFS and the Euro models. We see that there's a lot more moistening up of the atmosphere taking place, a lot more rainfall, maybe a broad airflow pressure trying to take shape. We'll see how that goes. As of right now, I'm not showing those maps because we know those things can change. I'll wait until the experts highlight it, or until the 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook shows a code yellow somewhere over here. As of right now, the US National Hurricane Center 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook as of 7:45 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which is actually 6:45 p.m. Jamaica time, not showing any code yellow across the Caribbean. We still have Milton, which is now a post-tropical cyclone, so it's no longer tropical at all. Definitely lost its tropical characteristics. We can also see Leslie, which is now a tropical storm, right there to the northeast of the Caribbean. And to the southeast of Leslie, we have the tropical wave, now finally off the coast of Africa, that has a chance of development as it pushes across the Cabo Verde Islands and pushes towards the west-northwest, towards the open waters of the Atlantic. And if we take a look at the infrared satellite images, we can make out all of these entities for sure. First of all, we have Milton here. Definitely doesn't look like itself at all. Most of the thunderstorms definitely gone, pushed off towards the northeast, sheared off. We can see even if this is gonna load. Let's see if it can load for me. I don't know why it's glitching out. Let's pause it. So we can definitely see, which is Leslie right here, now a tropical storm, definitely being sheared as we speak. And now we have that tropical wave off the coast of Africa that has a chance of development as it pushes towards the west-northwest. If we take a look at the very latest regarding Milton, as I stated, he's now a post-tropical cyclone. He's right here to the east of Florida, still has a huge range of tropical storm force winds in and around the system, packing maximum sustained winds of 70 miles per hour as we speak. So definitely no longer a hurricane, just a tropical storm in general. So it's a post-tropical cyclone, meaning that it has taken in on some subtropical characteristics. So it's no longer tropical, doesn't look like the usual tropical system to the deep convection. But regardless of this, it's still packing some tropical storm force winds, 70 miles per hour at that. So it still has the strength of a high-end tropical storm as we speak. We know tropical storms pack winds of anywhere from 39 to 73 miles per hour, and right now it's packing 70 miles per hour winds. And we can see the movement is to the east at 21 miles per hour, definitely moving quickly. Expected to pass to the south of Bermuda as a post-tropical cyclone, still a storm in general as it pushes towards the northeast, and then back down to a tropical depression by 2 a.m. on Sunday. And if we take a look at the very latest, the satellite images as stated, if you look closely, you can actually see the circulation right here pushing from west to east, definitely clearing out and making way for fair weather across Florida as we speak. And we can see the high cold cloud toss being blown off, sheared off towards the northeast by that upper level wind shear that we've been expecting to tear Milton apart or weaken it before it headed into Florida. That's definitely what we wanted. Didn't want it to cause great damage. It definitely caused damage, but not as bad as we really thought, especially with the storm surge that was expected. Definitely grateful for that. No complaints here. And we can definitely see the wind that it brought. All of these gold colors represents the tropical storm force winds. Definitely had it across much of Florida. Hurricane force winds in the burgundy colors, just for this middle portion of the Florida Peninsula, all the way across from west southwest to east northeast. And we can definitely see the track that Milton took all the way from the west coast of Florida, pushing eastward, then east southeastward, and back to east, then northeastward as it headed into Florida for sure. And now it's where it's supposed to be, to the north of the Bahamas, just as the supercomputer models have been predicting ever since the system was out here in the western portion of the Gulf of Mexico, just to show how accurate these models and the awesome workers at the U.S. National Hurricane Center are, especially with the fact that they've been going out into these systems, gathering data to put into the supercomputer models for our benefit in terms of accurate forecasts. If we take a look at what's happening regarding Tropical Storm Leslie, as of right now, it's basically around the same strength as Milton, packing maximum sustained winds of 70 miles per hour. So a high-end tropical storm moving towards the northwest at 8 miles per hour right now. So still gonna make more of a northwestward turn before it starts moving more northward then northeastward, maintaining tropical storm status all the way up until Sunday, when it's expected to pass just to the south of the Azores Island, maybe as a tropical depression, if not a low-end tropical storm into Monday. And we can see Leslie right here. We can definitely see the spin associated with her if you look closely in the lower levels of the atmosphere. Definitely see that she's being sheared. Look at the high cold cloud tops pushing from north to south for sure. All the bad weather is on the southern side of the eye. We can definitely see the eye spinning right in here. So she's definitely struggling at this time. Yesterday, this time, she was a hurricane. Now she's back to tropical storm status, just to show how strong wind shear can basically, how strong wind shear is, and can basically make a system go all the way naked in general. If we take a look at the other system now that's right here off the coast of Africa, let's read what the Hurricane Center has stated in their most recent update. So they stated, recent satellite wind data show that a broad low pressure area with winds of 30 to 35 miles per hour has formed in association with a tropical wave located southeast of the Cabo Verde Islands. However, the system's shower and thunderstorm activity is currently poorly organized. Some additional development could occur while it moves westward or west-northwestward across the eastern tropical Atlantic and the Cabo Verde Islands tonight and Friday. By Saturday, upper-level winds are forecast to become less favorable, and further development is unlikely after that time. Regardless of development, localized areas of heavy rain and gusty winds are possible across portions of the Cabo Verde Islands tonight through Friday. And with that, they've given it a 30% chance of cyclone formation both within the next 2 days as well as within the next 7 days. We'll see how that goes if the system will acquire the next name on the list, which is Nadine. So all of the others have been crossed off of the list for sure. That's what, about 12-13 storms thus far. So I guess we're on pace in terms of an average or almost average season. Just one more before we get to average. Average hurricane season is about 14 named storms, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think they bumped it up from 12 to 14 a couple of years ago, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, just one more before we're in an average state. But remember, most of the entities have been stating that we're going to be getting an above normal season. So we'll see how it goes before all is said and done. Alright, so let us see what was forecasted regarding Jamaica's weather today. We've stated that parts of southern Jamaica would have received some rainfall last night into Thursday morning, and then affect sections of northern Jamaica during Thursday afternoon. And just for reference, we know northern parishes, we're talking about those parishes on top like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland. While southern parishes, we're talking about those parishes on the bottom side of the island, like Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrew, and St. Thomas. And what ended up happening? Yes, we definitely saw the clouds coming in from the south last night. We definitely had the rainfall for sure, especially on the southern portion of the island, more so southwestern Jamaica than anything else. And even in the morning, we still had some lingering isolated showers across portions of some southern parishes. But for the most part, the day was hot. The day was hot. And we actually made a post highlighting how hot the day was, extra hot. And we also criticized Jamaican sun for not being very mindful or demure. So we can see what took place. More of that southerly flow, yes. But as stated, the clouds were piling up more so across northern Jamaica for sure. We definitely had that overcast skies, some isolated showers across inland areas of some southern parishes, as well as portions of some northern parishes, just as predicted. But for the most part, the heat stole the day. The temperatures for sure. At my workplace, we highlighted how hot the place was. We can see the latest the visible satellite images right here, highlighting the fact that we definitely gotten on most of the cloud cover and rainfall during the afternoon across portion of northern Jamaica, anywhere from St. James eastward, Trelawney, section of St. Anne gotten on some of that as well. And even the infrared satellite images confirming some of the thunderstorms to the north of the island that portion of northern Jamaica got in on this afternoon, most of it pushing off towards the north. But we can definitely see that the upper level wind shear pushing everything from east to west, or from southeast to west, northwest, just as predicted. But not much rainfall in those upper level clouds at all. And we can definitely see that on the live camera from See Jamaica's YouTube channel. It was definitely sunny for the most part across the corporate area today. This is the crossroads cam at 1:25 p.m. and we can see the clouds piling up across the hills of St. Andrew as they pushed northward. Definitely hot and sunny across the area, St. Andrew in general, at 1:26 p.m. And keep in mind that if you'd like to see more live streams like this, you can visit See Jamaica on YouTube. They also show Halfway Tree, the Kingston Harbor, the Barbican Camp. So subscribe today so that you don't miss out. And even if we take a look at the accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, this map does indeed paint a picture too of where we had the rainfall today, more so across northern Jamaica, especially during the afternoon, western and eastern Jamaica more so in the morning hours. And we definitely have confirmation from some of our followers today about the rainfall in their area. Linda McFarling stating, can't manage it today, it's dreadful. And trust me, we're talking about the heat, not the rainfall. As a matter of fact, I just mentioned the rainfall. We didn't get the rainfall in most areas, but we're talking about the post that was made highlighting the heat in general. The heat stole the show today. And we also have Maria Wynn stating, it sure is on the south of Manchester here. Because of it, I didn't go on the farm. We also have Lisa B. Rose stating, extremely humid. Even on our Instagram page, we had the comments coming in. Kena Rio, if I'm not butchering your name, it def not. And I'm super sleepy. This heat is making me fatigued. We also had Kishana Samuels. The place is hot. Seems like we are going to get some rain. You know, trust me, the rain is coming before all is said and done with October. The wettest month of the year. We have to get a lot of rain. Realm, well, let's not jinx it. Realm underscore JA stating, say it again. Coming like summer again. Father God, send summer in, please. Women underscore level underscore up stating, this year heat worse than summer. We also have G Money underscore North Coast underscore girl stating, Jaja, place a bun up. It's Pag. What's going on? I am burning. Love underscore Maya underscore Nana stating, all the fun coming like a blow dryer when it turned off. We also have Danny that F3 stating, guys, anybody felt, wait, earthquake? Well, I don't know about an earthquake. Did you guys feel an earthquake this morning at 5:25 p.m. like what Danny is stating? Let's see if we can find another. Alright, no more comments at all. Alright, so nothing here on our TikTok page. Let's see what the very latest infrared satellite image is showing across Jamaica. So the latest image just came out at 25 minutes past the hour. So this just came out at 7:25 p.m. So that was what, 13 minutes ago. We do see some isolated thunderstorms right there to the north of the island, to the north of St. Anne and St. Mary. Let's see if we can match it to the latest Cuban Doppler radar images. Unfortunately, it seems like the Cuban Doppler radar glitched out at what, 3 p.m. today, which is about 2 p.m. Jamaica time. Let's reload to see if it might have fixed itself. Either way, we can definitely see that southerly flow that took place across the island today. More so, at that time, most of the rainfall is out to the west of the island. Let's see. Okay, so it reloaded and still glitched out, unfortunately. Oh, there we go. There we go. I just saw something. It still glitched out, but I see something there at the end. So the latest image was just showing 8:30 p.m. So it jumped from the 3 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. So I guess they just worked on fixing it. Say 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 7:30 p.m. So it's actually highlighting the rainfall right there across the waters to the north of the island. So more than likely some of this rainfall was affecting section of St. Anne, St. Mary, like for the past hour if I'm not mistaken. And now most of it has pushed off to the north, which explains the isolated thunderstorm that portion of the waters to the north of the island are receiving as we speak. Let's see if the latest Guantanamo Bay Naval Radar Station is showing any of that. That's if the radar goes out that far. Okay, it doesn't seem like it at all, because this is the latest image if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, this is the latest image. I'm not seeing it here. Do see some isolated shores between Jamaica and Cuba though. Also see some rainfall right there to the north of southeastern Cuba, as well as to the west of Haiti. Let's see if we can find the Cayman radar. Let's see if anything is happening on the Cayman radar side. Alright, can't make out that portion of Jamaica where we see the rainfall to the north of St. Anne, but we do see the isolated shores still pushing, more so from the southwest to the northeast towards Cuba. But the pattern will change within the next 24 hours. We're going to be getting in back on our easterly flow that we're used to, and we're indeed grateful for that. Hopefully the easterly flow can bring back our cool temperatures. Looking here at the panoramic view of the city, we can definitely make out New Kingston right here. Definitely seeing all the lights. Just some patches of clouds right here in the sky. We can make out halfway trees. Transport center over there. Definitely gonna be a fair night for the most part. If we take a look at the temperatures right now, we can say about 27 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 28 degrees Celsius in Kingston, and by about 4 a.m. on Friday, temperature should dip down to about 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 25 degrees Celsius in Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is valid for 18Z on Friday. When calculated, that's about 1 p.m. on Friday, and we can see Jamaica right here embedded in some yellows and some slight orange colors. That will now represent 1 degree Celsius above normal temperatures. And we know the normal temperatures for the month of October across Jamaica are about the same as 89 degrees Fahrenheit. When calculated, 89 degrees Fahrenheit is about the same as 31.6 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving anywhere from 31 to 32 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on Friday. And we know the drill, the tips to beat the heat. Always dress down. It's gonna be Friday. Dress down, wear lightweight clothing and use sunscreen. Seek shade when you're outside. ensure that you stay away from the alcohol and the caffeinated beverages, and always stay hydrated. Drink lots of water. You can never go wrong with water. I would drink the water even more than the sugar drinks if I were you. If we take a look at the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Friday, we can see the Saharan dust is definitely back. And if the Saharan dust is back, that easterly flow is definitely back for sure. Some of the browns represent the Saharan dust pushing into the Windward Islands, some of it making it as far as to the east of Jamaica by 2 p.m. on Friday. I'm not going to be seeing it across Jamaica. Jamaica is somewhere right here. Not gonna be seeing it yet. Maybe on Saturday or maybe Friday evening for sure. But we see that it's more so lighter shades of browns. We're not seeing that very dark shade of brown that we know can cause very hazy skies or trigger some amount of asthma or sinusitis issues in some persons. And we're indeed grateful for that. The majority of it is dwindling down the more west it goes. If we take a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, we see that the Gulf of Mexico, the centrals of the Eastern Caribbean definitely calmed down now, with the lighter shades of blues to slightly dark shades of blues that represent anywhere from 0.5 to 1 or maybe close to 1.5 meter wave heights. While the highest waves should be where we have Leslie and post-tropical storm or post-tropical cyclone Milton, still churning up the waters right there to the east of Florida for tomorrow. And that's because the winds are still going to be strong over those areas. The area that we have Milton, because the air is still spinning counterclockwise. The area around Leslie is still spinning counterclockwise too. We see the winds averaging anywhere from 25 knots upward. And the Caribbean getting in more so on those lighter shades of greens to darker shades of greens. That wind represents anywhere from, let's say, 10 to 15 knots for the most part. And we see the flow definitely from the east. We're back with the easterly flow for sure. More so a northeasterly flow across the Gulf of Mexico. More so a northerly flow across the Western Caribbean. But let's see what the flow is like for Jamaica. Let's close up and see what's happening. So we can definitely see we don't have that southerly flow anymore. We see more of a northeasterly flow, especially on the north coast. We see more of an easterly flow on the south and the east coast of the island. We also see the air curling up on the western side of the island, but look at where the air is piling up. Across inland areas of some central parishes, inland areas of some central to eastern parishes as well. And we know what usually happens when all of that air piles up. All of the low-level clouds become mid-level rain clouds, if not upper-level cumulonimbus clouds. So we just might have some daytime heating, afternoon rainfall. And if we're going to be getting some rainfall, most of that is going to be coming off of the sea. Look at that flow. If we get some rainfall tonight, maybe some rain on the north coast. If we get some rainfall tomorrow, maybe some rain on the eastern side of the island. We'll see how that goes. Either way, the upper level winds are still forecast to come strongly from the east, northeast for tomorrow. And we've already been getting in on that. If we actually look back at the infrared satellite images, look at the clouds. We already see the upper level winds pushing the high cold cloud tops off towards the west. So even although there are some thunderstorms affecting a portion of Haiti, who knows? Maybe we just might get in on more cloud cover than anything else. But the rainfall forecast is definitely showing some rainfall for the island tomorrow. We'll see if we actually get more rainfall than cloud cover. My bet is on more cloud cover than rainfall. So let's take a look and see how that goes. Even as early as tomorrow morning, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both showing 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 7 a.m. Jamaica time. And we do see the blues represent rainfall across the waters to the east of the island especially. We see some rainfall, the waters to the south of the island, the waters to the north of the island. We'll see how that goes. That's 7 a.m. Maybe some rainfall for eastern Jamaica for sure. By the way, we know eastern Jamaica, we're talking about those parishes like, well, the parishes in the county of Surrey, like Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, St. Andrews, and maybe some rainfall at 7 a.m. for those areas. Look at this. This is 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 10 a.m. Jamaica time. And what do we see? We see that both the Euro and the GFS models are still in consensus for some morning rainfall across section of eastern Jamaica. GFS trying to incorporate portion of central Jamaica. In it, some of that rainfall. We see section of St. Catherine, Clarendon right there. We know central Jamaica, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Middlesex, like St. Anne, St. Mary, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine. We'll see how that goes at that time. Then finally by afternoon now, this is what the models are predicting. Euro model definitely even more robust with the dark shades of blues and greens in there. But we see that both the Euro and the GFS models are forecasting rainfall across mainly central and western Jamaica. Portion of eastern Jamaica, more so the western portion of eastern Jamaica like Kingston, St. Andrew. We'll see how that goes. Either way, we have consensus for some afternoon rainfall at around 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 3 p.m. Jamaica time, and we see that the Euro is definitely even more robust than the GFS. The dark shades of blues, the greens, that could be some heavy rainfall across northern St. Catherine, northern Clarendon. We'll see how that goes. Either way, both accumulated precipitation forecast maps are in consensus that's going to be raining somewhere across Jamaica within the next 24 hours. This map from GFS and this map from the Euro are both showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 3 on Saturday when calculated. That's all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Friday. And we do see the greens, we see the yellows, we see the oranges. That represents all the way up to 0.38 of an inch of rainfall on the GFS. Could be more than that. We also see the Euro showing more of the rainfall across the southeast. 0.69 of an inch of rainfall, more so across Kingston, St. Andrew. We'll see how that goes. Either way, we're indeed grateful. We're in the month of October. We're in the wettest month of the year. It's gonna be raining somewhere across Jamaica tomorrow. In Kingston, we usually receive 170 millimeters of rainfall during the month. When calculated, that's about the same as close to 7 inches of rainfall. In Montego Bay, we usually receive 8.5 inches of rainfall. When calculated, that's about 212 millimeters of rainfall, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll definitely take all the rainfall that we can get to cool down the temperatures. And keep in mind that if you'd like to find out what your specific parish usually receives throughout the year, you can visit weatherandclimate.com, and you can use this nice little graphic right here to convert rainfall from inches to millimeters that we usually receive on the rain gauge. We know that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So we can make out some moisture right there to the south of Hispaniola. We might just get some amount of rainfall. As a matter of fact, let's see if we have any entities out there. I think I forgot to show the surface map. Alright, not seeing much in the way of entities. I was looking for maybe a trough or a tropical wave. Can't make out anything like that right now. But we do see what's happening. The clouds associated with the remnants of Milton, the clouds associated with Leslie, the clouds associated with what's going to be developing as it pushes towards the west-northwest across the Cabo Verde Islands and the open waters of the Atlantic. Not seeing much happening across the northeastern Caribbean. What portion of the Windward Islands still getting in on some isolated shores? Northern South America, Panama, Costa Rica, Central America getting in on their usual fair share of rainfall, especially during the afternoon. Couldn't see the northeastern Caribbean radar today, but the Barbados radar showing some isolated showers coming in from the east to affect section of Barbados as we speak. We also see some rainfall heading into portions of St. Vincent as we speak. And, well, most of it seemed to have pushed out to the west of there, so they were getting rainfall earlier. Not much right now. We can see not much happening across the Grenadine Islands, not much happening across Grenada. If we take a look, however, at the wider view of Doppler radar images, we can see some rainfall to the east of Nicaragua. We can also see some rainfall across section of Colombia, northwestern Venezuela, some rainfall right there across portion of Suriname, the waters to the north of French Guiana as well. And regarding rainfall and where it's expected within the next 24 hours, we can say both the Euro and the GFS models are in consensus that it's going to be raining. And keep in mind that these maps are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Friday. For portions of Florida, sections of Cuba getting in on the mix. More so isolated shores than anything else. The Bahamas too. We can also see portions of the Yucatan getting in on some isolated shores. Not seeing much taking place across Belize, but definitely Honduras, El Salvador getting in on the mix. Portions of Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, Not seeing much happening across the Cayman Islands, but Jamaica, Haiti, Dominican Republic for sure. So too Colombia, sections of Venezuela. We also see that rainfall in store for sections of Guyana, Suriname, French Guyana. When we look down, not seeing much for the Eastern Caribbean. More so areas like St. Lucia and Martinique, maybe Barbados as well. But that's just about it. Not seeing much rainfall for the Northeastern Caribbean or Puerto Rico, US and British Virgin Islands at all. And we know that when both maps from the Euro and the GFS are in consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.